Honestly,
Yeah,
I just realized.
damn right. I feel like he could have just bridged straight in there as we are in
Yeah.
Champions Select. As Snake is going to be taking our blue side. Newbee on the red. Nidalee and Shen already banned away from V and Swift. And the Gangplank taken away from Flandre. Pretty standard stuff as the Karma is going to be the follow-up ban. So Vladimir, Malzahar, Braum, all sorts of picks still up and available for both of these teams to grab. And Snake has been a team that's ran Malzahar top as well. So leaving up both Vlad and Malz doesn't really allow you to escape from both of those picks because they could both just be picked up.
That's true. But I do love the fact that Nidalee and Shen have just been taken outright from Newbee. Shen, of course, is great for V because V takes control of his lane. So he'll go for that aggressive Titanic Hydra. And then, of course, he'll always help out his team in terms of skirmishes and team fights. So that was great. And, of course, you just want to get Nidalee away from Swift. That's his champion.
Yeah, most certainly is. Of course, V was up against back-to-back Echoes, if I remember correctly, in their game against Game Talents. Gimgoon, of course, favoring that champion quite a bit. But the Shen matchup should have theoretically been fine, just getting shoved in over and over again, but V really made it look easy against that Echo. As now Flandre looking for his Malzahar button. We'll see whether he presses it or whether it's something else that's going to take priority here for Snake.
Hope it's not a Teemo. That's all I hope for. I just don't hover too hard. Oh, there we go.
Wow, SOFM going to take away his Rek'Sai, so that's going to be the priority here, taking it away from Swift. As now Newbee can pick themselves up that Malzahar if they'd like to. We'll see whether it is going to be grabbed, because of course we have found out that picks like Talia can work out quite well against it.
Yeah, and so I know that Vladimir is banned in this set, but for some teams, don't even want to look at it. Because Talia is a major factor, can do quite a bit against the Vladimir, even against the Malzahar. I'm surprised we don't see the bans, but of course it really just comes down to teams and their comfort around that champion.
Well, Newbee thinking about a bottom lane here at the moment as Sivir and Alistar are being hovered. More definitely, like you said, prioritizing the cow a whole lot more. Happy, of course. 11 games on Sivir. His most played champion so far this split. Does want to have that late game insurance when he can get it.
Yeah, the Sivir and Alistar, actually.
Okay, no. So it's going to be the Malzahar picked up. Sivir, Malzahar, I like it a lot. On the hunt, augmenting Malzahar quite greatly, because you can then get into rage for that Nether Grasp.
So yeah, Sivir and Malzahar, of course, they do well, working well with one another. Game goes long enough, you have to deal with the lockdown coming in from Malzahar. And on top of that, the Sivir damage just as well. So, of course, Newbee looks like they're heading straight back into that teamfight identity.
Yeah, and Snake, on the other hand, thinking about what they want to take on the Summoner's Rift. Because I do like Trundle into Malzahar. You can throw down pillars just to get rid of that shield whenever you feel like it. Looks like Martin now considering the Jhin, as the Victor is actually locked in from tank, and there's the Jhin as well.
Yeah, so it looks like we were seeing a lot of mid priority. Victor can do well, even, he can just pretty much farm out against that Malzahar matchup. And Jhin coming up, knowing that he's going up against the Sivir, so it's a proper matchup. So you gotta know that the Braum could be coming up here. Braum Alistar, it really just comes down. Do you want to pick Braum for the matchup? You want to pick Alistar for the rest of the game? Because I do know more. It's a contested pick.
Most certainly is, between him and Jay-Z as well. And I feel like it's exactly that question, right? Of, do you want to pick the lane? worked out quite well. But like you said, Alistair can find it difficult in the Trundle matchup. We'll see whether it is going to be Moore playing it or whether they're going to give that to V. Maybe grab something like a Bard for Moore. Of course, has been another champion that he's been favoring previously. A few more options on the table. 25 seconds to go as Newbee think about rounding out their composition.
You'd have to think they're looking for the Aurelia pick because you see the Jhin. Now, Jhin right now, we saw him in the last set. You see him in quite a few games where, sure, if his team has tempo, if his team has pressure, sure, he can do great. But at any point, you can question his positioning and knock him into a wall. And I love this pick right now.
Well, that's exactly a champion that can do that, as the Poppy's going to be picked up. And of course you love it, Raz. It's Poppy. And you love it coming from anyone, as of course Acorn has been the one to be playing it first. And now V going to try his hand with the Demacian Justice on the top side of the map. So, Echo versus Poppy. And man, it takes you back, doesn't it? When these two were the most contested top laners in the meta. No longer the case. We are going to see it one more time.
Yeah, and the buffs for Poppy did quite well for him. Poppy now does get the extra movement speed with her W.
Yep.
And on top of that, the extra shield percentage. That's the biggest point.
Yeah.
As you get items, you go straight towards tank, and now your HP, or at least the shield coming out of it, it's massive. And so I love this pick now. It's a scaling pick, and it does deal well with this lane. Though, of course, Echo early on will shove Poppy into the lane, constantly looking for pressure, but if you're Poppy, you're fine.
Well, we'll see how it goes. The coaches shake hands. Let's get into game number 1 between Snake and Newbee. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Summoner's Rift for game number 1 in our final set of the night. It is going to be Snake taking on Newbee. The first dragon going to be that Cloud Drake. So we are dispersing onto the Rift. SOFM leading the charge here for Snake. We'll see whether anything funny happens in the early game. No Brahms, so maybe not the level 1 that we did see out of IG.
Yeah, so it feels like both teams would want the standard lanes. But specifically, let's go back in time.
Take me on a journey, Raz.
Will do. So we saw quite a lot, as you said, Poppy versus Echo. This matchup was just the meta not too long ago. And so how the matchup would work would just be Echo constantly shoving Poppy into lane, looking to trade into him. And so it would be very difficult for the Poppy early on. But once Poppy gets her items, once Poppy starts to scale up, it's very, very difficult, pretty much skirmish and road for Flandre on this Echo pick, because every time Echo tries to E and pretty much trade into the Poppy, you just put up your W and just look to outtrade, maybe smack him into the wall.
Yeah, grab yourself a buckler, get a whole bunch of shield.
Yeah.
Feel free to wail away. But SOFM starting here on the bottom side of the map, as it looks like a lane swap is ensuing for both teams. Snake actually matching the blind one of Newbee, or the other way around, as it's a blue buff start there for Swift as well on this Grave. So more of a 3-threat comp coming out from Newbee, which is a change up from what we did see.
And so with both teams looking to blind, I honestly don't feel as though it impacts anything too much. I know that Flandre is going to be happy about this and how the matchup works for him. And perhaps in the bottom lane for Snake, they'll be just fine going up against Trundle and Sivir. Alistair doesn't have to do too much. If Alistair ever looks to headbutt Paul, then it'll be a little bit difficult for him to walk out. So honestly, he's just going to be looking to take a little bit more of a passive lane.
Well, you can see Moore doing the same thing, just waiting on in that brush. Stade struggling to get this shield back up. His tank is being unrelenting in his harassment, utilizing the Qs and the Es to get over the top, and has control of this wave. See whether that is going to continue. Is Happy has to farm with the boomerang at the moment. Martin with a bit of control, especially with that crit built up in the tank. Gets the reload to be able to pick up the rest of the farm. So far, things pretty calm. Quite an advantage being built as far as CS in every lane for Snake.
Yeah, so lanes are working out very well for them, especially with Martin right now able to zone and just get the CS for free. He's not really burning much on his mana pool. Meanwhile, Happy does need to commit quite a lot to just safely farm up.
Oh, Tank throwing down the Ghost to Swift. It's a big round of damage. That end of the line doing the double work as it pounds against the wall.
See, SOFM and Tank are pretty comfortable, or at least familiar with that when SOFM has Graves. But now Tank is starting to feel that on himself quite now.
You can see SOFM wanted that Gromp. It is going to spawn now. Would have had the timing right if Swift had have started on it. Not going to. Swift now going to turn up. Notices SOFM. SOFM says, all right, you can have it. SV looking to head over. Flandre steps up as well, and the tunnel going to be eaten there by Swift. So takes control back of his side of the map.
But yeah, this is a great start for Snake right now. They are, look at that.
Oh my goodness, the trades from Flandre.
Constantly looking for these trades, pretty much trying to get these laning leads, which is honestly how they beat Game Talents in their last set. Lane in the Game 3, after all of those troubling teamfight losses, Game 3 they just outright smashed Game Talents. And just straight from the laning phase.
Well, we'll see whether they can continue to do it here, because of course Newbee have not been a team that's necessarily been known for their laning power. It has been more about how they can get these team fights to work as the games move forward. Haven't got a whole bunch of victories under their belt. 5 to 8 currently. Sorry, 5 to 9 currently. But certainly when they do win, it's later on. SOFM continues to farm things out, but delivers the first blue over to Tank. It doesn't have the Ghost, but it is going to be up very, very soon. Didn't use the high cooldown flash when Swift came to gank, so everything is going to be fine. Nice Deadly Flourish lands onto Moore, but doesn't proc the stun. The grenade, apparently, just doesn't give it to you if you get it off the ricochet.
And so, yeah, that just comes down to the fact that he's just harassing the lane out. And that just seems to be a common theme here. And one thing you don't want to give Snake is just the standard pushing lanes, right? At least Newbee has the pushing mid lane. But in general, if Snake knows that they have these lanes working out well for them, they're going to be targeting out your buffs. So watch out. I know blue buff seems to be a thing that's coming up soon.
Oh, Swift discovered by Flandre. Lots of movement speed comes in as the Graves now very low. No red buff for the regen. We'll have to be quite careful as SOFM continues his farm train, takes the lead as far as that CS is concerned, with the help of his pretty standard Tiamat first pickup.
Yeah, that's a great standard from SOFM. Now
he's farming too fast. He has to wait for camps.
Way too quickly. But yeah, now Graves, I guess Graves is going to be able to get that blue buff, but something I think Snake should have pretty much looked for, because Flandre, he's using his timings in the lane very well. Every time he's able to get the early push, all he ever does is looking to harass the jungler or just get some vision.
Well, right now SOFM getting some vision towards the top side. Swift trying to answer by clearing out some tunnels on the bottom side of the map.
Definitely
Red buff is going to spawn.
He's going to show where he is, though. He's going to have to watch out.
Yet. SOFM's looking to try and get over here, but the red buff is looking to go down relatively quickly. No smite.
What are you doing, Swift?
He's going to take the red.
Oh, thank God.
SOFM might find him. Tremesen spots out exactly where the Graves is, but he gets out of the jungle. And Moore actually now going to get caught out of position. Martin with a big crit. Doesn't find too much more.
Able to just get out alive on that one. I was really worried for Swift there because if he spent a second longer on that, it would have been pretty bad. Because he showed himself by clearing that tunnel.
Well, there's the curtain call. Moore moves out of the way, takes one of the bullets. Martin saves some of that cooldown, but the Ignite's still ticking. They were hoping for a little bit more out of that. The slow didn't come in quickly enough as the first bullet missed. So he's able to get out of there. Tank now with a decent lead here in the mid lane of 14 creeps. SOFM continuing to farm.
Yeah, and that's why I love SOFM on Rek'Sai. Feels like that's just his most, I guess, stable champion. He has one track mind in terms of just farming, looking to clear his jungle. When he runs out of his own camps, he just says, okay, well, going to pay a visit to the enemy jungle.
Well, like right now, this Gromp is most definitely going to fall down. Remember, those big camps don't give more experience necessarily. They just give you a fancy buff. So Swift taking away both of the reds, but SOFM continuing to stay ahead as far as the amount of camps killed.
Swift is responding very well to this, though. He's never too far behind because he knows where Swift is, or at least he knows where SOFM is, and he's able to just pretty much get a few camps for himself.
Yeah, I like it. SOFM now going back, grabs himself some Ninja Tabi, actually. Just outright. And just ults his way back in. Swift now doing himself the Gromp.
Oh, that's a little bit too greedy for you, Swift. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's the knock-up. Moore comes in. SOFM maybe has to get out of here. Good pillar comes down from Moore, and SOFM may actually think about flashing. Nice knock-up, so it doesn't have to. Swift survives.
Fairly certain SOFM has teammates, but they just didn't show up. So, unfortunately, yeah, he didn't blow anything. He didn't blow flash. It was fine for him, but could have looked fairly bad for Swift there.
Well, thankfully for him, it's Moore that's able to rotate earlier. JZ not getting in there in time as the Q dodged from Flandre, gets a good trade and throws down another Time Winder. Making this Sheen do some work here in this lane so far for Flandre. 94 to 80. So he's 14 CS in the lead as well. But no kills just yet this game.
Yeah.
Passive 400 gold lead for Snake. That is no big deal at all. Skade does have that shield. Going to be difficult for SOFM to get anything done. Thankfully, Praysec are pretty good getting rid of that one from a Malzahar.
And so here's the thing. I like the fact that Poppy's coming back, right?
Damn right you do.
I do. Big problem, of course, is lately we've just been seeing, or at least it's not a surprise, the standard lanes for Poppy just not working out for her.
No.
She's having a tough time and just farming out, and so that's definitely part of a reason why they wanted to lane swap this. But now she's stuck in this lane against Echo, which is fairly poor for her. But the trade-off generally, it doesn't really matter all too much as long as she get her items, because her focus will be more towards a play that her team will be making up. So that's going to be, she's going to be looking for Martin, she's going to be looking for Tank, looking for those flanks. And once she has her items, she's going to be untouchable. But it's going to be a very tough road for her.
Well, speaking of items, Raz, Tank just went back and completed 2 upgrades on his Hex score. So that is the Mark II already done. Went back with 2,250 gold. Tank is now a beast.
Well then, I know there was a lot of difficulty about going for your first upgrade.
Yeah. What about your first 2 in one go?
Oh man, he must have had a lot of gold. I mean, he's not going to be threatened in this lane regardless. So I guess he's just like, I'm going up against Malzahar. Going to be farming up creeps and then the Malz creeps just as well. So, getting a lot of gold.
Certainly is. Well, Swift can utilize his options. Go over towards this Raptor camp. SOFM gets down towards the bottom side, but opts in for the Krug camp, as SOFM does like to do.
One great thing for Snake, of course, is that the first dragon is Ghost, or at least it's the Cloud Dragon. So it's a great, like the buff really helped out the Cloud Dragon, but look at the opportunity cost, and they're a lot happier about the lanes themselves rather than furthering like a gold lead for the Dragon. So right now, they're happy with these matchups. So now it's starting to tilt a little bit in favor of Poppy as she starts to get her items.
It looks like Flandre is actually going towards the dash cannon as well, as Dade has to dodge out of the way, uses the ghost, but gets slowed by the Curtain Call's second bullet. Misses the next few, though, so Martin unable to lock down the mid laner, and Dade full health. SOFM says, well, if we're not killing him, I'm killing the enemy jungle. Looks
Yeah,
like
good
Swift-
attempt.
Yeah, going to do the same thing.
Yeah, it was a good attempt. Hats off to them.
You can see Snake answering the push on the bottom side of the map, clearing out these minions. SOFM doing the same thing towards the top side as they engage onto his own jungle on his red side. V now in trouble as SOFM looking for the knock-up. Ultimate comes out, and Rek'Sai just says, all right, well, I guess I won't be ganking here.
Really good timing to check that bush out, because one thing you have to be afraid if you're a Poppy player is for a gank or a dive in general. If you're going to get punished that hard, you have to have the ward's nest out there. And so they're able to back out completely. But with that being said, they know SOFM is top side, so that's a free dragon for Swift.
Well, free turret as well there for Snake, as V did have to go back to base. Didn't use his teleport in order to get back in. As Dragon traded for a red buff in the top lane, as SOFM wants to be able to lock down his big raptor. Doesn't, as Swift just smites it away. And SOFM says, damn it, that is normally my job.
Yeah, I love the fact that they're just competing for CS right now.
Yeah. A lot of aggression. Now Tracker's Knife comes in for SOFM, going towards that Cinder Hulk. It will be done relatively soon. Proto Belt is completed here from Flandre, so a little bit more of an offensive edge, as he is looking to go towards the Iceborne Gauntlet second. So still a tanky Echo with this early game flavor. And I do like it. A lot more maneuverability, and does aid in his wave clear at the same time every 40 seconds.
Yeah, but he has to watch out. I'm not too sure if that's going to be good for the lane matchup itself.
Oh, yeah.
Poppy's just going to get tanky, and of course Poppy does have percentage damage. So the value of the AP that he's going for is, I'm not too sure if it's going to be all too good.
Not more in trouble now. Decent pillar to get rid of Jay-Z. Make sure that he doesn't get locked down. As Martin's holding onto this minion wave, Moore continues to have to worry about SOFM and this cow. Another knock-up comes through. Boomerang lands on SOFM and a lot of damage. Immediate flash out of the curtain call there from Moore, as Martin says, all right, well, if I can get that from one bullet, I'll take it.
Yeah, but great from Moore. Didn't force out the flash. Pretty much waited for the Jhin ulti first before he said, you know what, okay, now I'm going to flash.
Yeah.
He was in a poor situation, but he made the best of it.
Martin's actually utilized this to get himself a lead here on the bottom side of the map. Teleport coming in from Snake as they're looking for a four-man dive. There's the flash headbutt pulverized, but Happy, brilliant spell shield, avoids it. Unbreakable Will comes in, but Jay-Z too much focus, and the cow's in trouble. First blood is going to go to Moore, as Newbee play fantastic defensive League of Legends.
Great counter TP from Newbee. That was what they needed, 100% answer to that dive. And it worked out well for him.
Yeah. Now Newbee with a little bit of added control. Jay-Z, of course, not exactly the be-all and end-all at this point. So not able to get too much pressure back. We're just going to go back to standard laning. We'll see whether it does make any differences as we move forward. Swiftness boots completed by both supports. No mobility boots chosen here from either. And Tank, he's got a QSS, so no Nether Grasp, no real gank option onto this Victor, who's feeling super happy in this lane. 19 CS up. Relatively comfortable.
Yeah. And so we've been seeing a lot of the QSS been coming out, of course. If you're going up against Malzahar, you want to get rid of the ulti altogether. Get rid of that ulti play. But we've been seeing it from a lot of mages lately.
Yeah.
Which kind of feels inefficient in the sense that it's just going down the dumps. It doesn't really go into anything. At least anything really beneficial.
We've seen Victor's pick up Mercurial Scimitar.
That's true.
And he does auto-attack a little bit as far as his combo, but I think you're right. Doesn't feel the best.
And so what's problematic is, of course, if you go up against a Skarner or something, you build a QSS, that's just fine, right? If you go up against a Warwick, it's like, all right, well, there goes their kit. Oh, there you go.
See you later, guys.
But yeah, if you're going up against the Malzahar, once he gets his item,
Oh, Flandre looking for Happy. Swift standing here. As the Ghost comes in from Dade, Flandre will have to ult his way out, but he's not going to get far, nor will he even have the option as collateral damage mops it up for Swift.
Oh, goodbye. Goodbye to him. Yeah, Malzahar gets his Morella Nomicons.
My God, another dive comes in.
Action.
Curtain Call, lots of damage onto Swift as the last bullet is looking for him but doesn't find it. SOFM over to the side, but it looks like this outer turret is going to be the focus from Snake. Tank able to do a lot of work. As Death Ray does a lot as well. V finds his way over the top. Of course, remember, Flandre, no teleport, can't get back in. Snake don't get the turret just yet, but it is very close to dead.
Yeah, they're looking to pretty much finish it off. But Newbee doing a great job at just holding the minions, not giving them a single second of just...
Oh, there's the flash. SOFM grabs the first kill for Snake with some good vision. Thank you, Observer. It is that ward that spotted him out. Now V could possibly knock SOFM away, but he just tunnels his way out.
SOFM. That was really great. That was fun. That's the value of wards, friends.
Yeah.
Go out there and buy some wards. Might get you a few kills.
Used his flash for it, but not going to be too worried. Does have the tunnel, does have the ultimate. Gets himself to safety. Perfect Hex Core done now for Tank as well as the Lucidity Boots. Really pushing ahead in this farm. 30 CS up. Now going to go back again. We'll see whether he goes towards the Rylai's, something like that. Whether he wants more damage or what he wants to pick up now on this Victor.
Yeah, so Rylai's... Oh, okay. Rylai's is a major item. Before, I tried to finish the point about Malzahar and how Rylai's impacts him. Once he gets Rylai's, that's really, quite honestly, he can impact the team fight so heavily.
Oh, yeah.
By so much. And he doesn't really need to use his ulti to pretty much get his team a win in a fight.
No.
And so that's why it feels like getting a QSS, sure, that's a great response, right? But A, you're at a gold disadvantage. You're using the gold for that. And B, you're just, if you're behind in a game, that Rylai slow, the kit that he otherwise has, is going to be annoying enough.
Well, actually, I spoke wrongly, Raz. That cloth armor went into a Ninja Tabi for Flandre, and he's going to the Gimgoon build of the Trinity Force. He's come in second here for this Echo. So definitely an offensive flavor. Not quite the AP that we were possibly expecting out of a Proto Belt.
Yeah.
So no Lich Bane, but I do love the Trinity Force. And that's 30% CDR built up as soon as he grabs that Stinger as well. Flandre is going to be difficult to get away from, to say the least.
Yeah, I really want to see how this works out. Flandre must know something I don't, because I feel like once you get those items, you 100% one stat, you're gaining a lot of offensive stats, but you're losing a lot of defensive stats. And if you're... Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, V for the flank. Knocks two up here on the side of Snake, but Tank still at half health, still okay. The Ignite's ticking down. V has to run, but it's not quite enough. Flandre's going to get deleted. Chaos Storm still doing work throughout the backline as SOFM. He gets the focus. Chaos Storm runs out, and Newbee are still alive. Tank in trouble as V, also very close to dead, but gets himself to safety. Happy blocking for more. Uses the spell shield on the last bullet. And Newbee just team fighting beautifully this game. And finally, getting themselves some control on this map.
Exactly. They really need this. Decisiveness was the only problem I felt like. Well, not the only problem, but a major problem this team has had.
Yeah.
And so they are taking these fights so decisively. Decisions are really coming down well. And the Malzahar really getting these picks on Flandre. He's never able to get in.
No, certainly isn't. And Newbee just have enough damage. Of course, remember, Dade didn't find a victory on his first Malzahar game. He's now looking much better, even if the lane phase didn't really work out. Tank, of course, being able to farm up an absolute storm. Still, over 30 CS in the lead.
But they're still at a gold deficit is the issue now.
Yeah. And the CS still looking good for Snake. 3 towers to 1 as well, so
yeah,
the map being torn open a little bit. But if they can't win a team fight, it's still going to be rough.
That's true. So now Snake has to start playing a little smarter. They have to go back, remember how they ended up winning, or at least how they grew against Game Talents not so long ago.
Yeah.
You have the towers open. You have to start using it. The Vision got them 1 kill, funny enough, for SOFM. But now you have to start clearing out these wards Use the towers that you have available to you. And they're doing just that.
Playing out vision around this Baron right now.
Oh.
Cute little ward there for Newbee. Does spot people out as Swift is going to get locked down. There's the curtain call. Tanks up 1 bullet. There's 2. Headbutt Pulve comes in. Last bullet's going to lock it down, and Martin grabs the pick for Snake.
That's what they need. Swift down. There goes their jungler. Now the real threat is this Baron. Moore has to walk in. He has to.
Ward goes down. SOFM immediately sweeps it out. You can see that ward still in such a great place as they know that Snake have started up this Baron. SOFM tunnels his way over, will get into the back of this pit. Parallel convergence down as well, gives Flandre a shield. Newbee, 4 versus 5, trying to get this one down. Happy, lots of damage. It is going to be SOFM locking up the Baron, but immediately Tank is going to fall down. Dash Cannon comes in. Flandre grabs the Sivir. More in trouble in the backline as Flandre has to get it done. Already 2 picked up. The ultimate comes through. Parallel convergence down once again. SOFM gets himself out of the fight, but V is battling. The flash comes in. Flandre picks up the kill onto Dade and doesn't even die to the Malefic Visions. He's back.
My God, I was questioning his itemizing, but man, that's what carried them through that fight. And they got the Baron.
Get out of there, man. Out. That's ridiculous. Swift now looking to try and lock it up. Does have flash.
Oh, no.
Parallel convergence is there. Gets the slow. And Swift flashes. Gets the ult. And that's the shutdown.
Well, he got something out of it.
I think I'd still call worth if I was Flandre. Let's have a look at this one again.
My God, this entire time Giezo was locked down by Dade, but he gets knocked away. Look at that. Dash Cannon right on top of Sivir. He's able to just maneuver around. But what happened with SOFM? He gets out of there. He had 50% HP. He left Flandre for dead, and then he realizes, wait a second, he's just solo winning this team fight.
Just ridiculous. No, I just wanted to give Flandre his time in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
3-3 and 0 now. Trinity Force completed. QSS done as well. Quite a few stacks on that Dark Seal. And look at that damage in the team fight. 4.4k to the top of Newbee being Dade at 1.7. They will be able to grab this outer turret in the mid lane as Moore slowed down by the curtain call. SOFM looking for the knock-up. Doesn't decide to do it onto the Trundle as the bullets just fly haphazardly through this team. Unable to quite find it, but Baron buff now ticking. Snake looking to try and make it work. Thankfully for Newbee, Flandre does not have that buff. So can't put it into effect on the bottom side.
That's true. And of course he goes back, finished off he has the Triforce, but mostly he's got that QSS. So in every fight we've seen that Snake has lost, he gets singled out by that Malzahar ulti and he gets blown up.
Yeah.
What happens when he now has the option to pretty much get out of it? Well, of course, he still has to deal with this matchup here in Poppy. Poppy does have Sunfire and that Spirit Visage, so now she can start to outduel Flandre, especially now that he has this build.
Yeah, the Sheen coming in now as well. And look, that tower did basically nothing to V. So now Flandre moving back. Of course, the Dark Seal, not quite as many stacks now that Swift denied a whole bunch. So V able to get some work done. We'll see whether this late game Poppy is going to be what Newbee need. SOFM was thinking about a gank, instead just wants to lock down the Rift Scuttler. And Swift says no. Sorry, you can't do that.
Feels like every time Newbee gets onto the Rift, it comes back to the same theme.
Yeah.
Of V needing to get his team out of that situation. Shen was one pick that he was doing incredibly well. Aurelio's another pick, and now put him on Poppy. Sure, he had a pretty tough laning phase, but now he's in a position where he's looking at Flandre. Yeah, sure, Flandre has a carry build that he can't touch V. And so now he's just going to pretty much look to be on that side lane. But I think Snake has recognized that. They're bringing Flandre straight to the fight.
Well, 19 seconds now on this Infernal Drake. Snake want to stop Newbee's monopoly on that particular objective. Want to try and grab one for themselves. Newbee want to answer, though. They do get themselves into a decent position.
Wait a minute.
There's the curtain call down. Moore actually taking a lot of damage as Flandre has to use his QSS, gets himself out of the way. Bullets don't connect with the Poppy. Still at full health. Moore relatively low. Happy gets a huge crit over that minion wave to deal with it as now the exhaust's coming down. Tank caught out of this fight. Nice stun comes in as V quite possibly in trouble. Flandre uses his ult, but will get cleaned up. V grabs the kill. Low health bars on Newbee. Death Ray flies through. Moore throws down a pillar. Definitely doing some work here as Snake still want to stay on the aggressive. Swift over to the side. Quite low. Tank. Not a lot of mana.
There's not a lot of ways for Snake to even touch this Newbee lineup right now. Poppy is just far too strong at this point. And then Malzahar, of course, you have to set up to even get him stunned. They need to back away.
Yeah, Tank realizes not a lot of mana pool, not a lot of health. And they're going to give up their third dragon in a row. Will be now Cloud, Mountain, and then the Infernal Drake, which does fall down. Fourth one will be that Cloud. So Newbee still not with the gold lead, but feels like they have control of the map, especially now that they've evened up those turrets.
So now the question is, who's going to stop V? V right now, he can be in the lanes, right? He can challenge Flandre. Flandre has to get away from him. But now what happens when V is in the fights? Martin can't touch V. V is far too strong for Martin to do any bit of damage.
Yeah.
SOFM, Flandre, who's going to touch him? Who's going to be able to deal the bulk of the damage? It has to be Tank. And so it feels as though the longer Tank survives in these fights, it's better for Snake. But if Newbee can outright destroy the Victor, then Poppy has full impunity in this fight.
We'll see whether he's going to be able to get it done. Flandre starting to build Tank, has the Giant's Belt now, as well as the Dash Cannon Trinity Force. The cheeky QSS. Tank building towards his Void Staff, wants it as quickly as possible. Has the Rylai's, of course, done, and Mortal Reminder almost there for Martin, who did prioritize the Executioner's calling. Just to make sure none of that health's coming back. Largely on Moore, if they want to try and pick him off. That Subjugate gives him a lot of his health. Now Happy, he's the one able to take down this red buff. So only needs another 1,400 approximately gold to pick up his Infinity Edge, and that will be a huge spike for the Civil. We talk about it every single time, but it is very important. SOFM just playing with them here in the mid lane.
Yeah. So if you have Poppy and Sivir, right now it feels like Newbee should have the later team fights locked down tight. So Snake needs to figure something out. They need to find a way to get to these. They have priority in these lanes. They can push out and walk towards Baron first. But can they hold that position?
That's a really good question. They did just hit some decent item spikes, actually. Void Staff and Mortal Reminder now completed by Tank and Martin. So that is good news. Happy, nice spell shield. Dodges himself out of the way of the Deadly Flourish. Has to use the ultimate. Heroic Charge comes in. Flandre still relatively squishy to the damage of this Poppy, who just does not take any herself.
Look at that shield. You can't touch it. And that's the whole point. That's the real issue when it comes to this buff, right? This buff giving Poppy far more percentage HP shield.
Yeah.
Now, once you get this build, and the shield, of course, can come, like the passive comes up quite a bit in team fight. And you can just constantly pick it up. You can't damage it.
Well, Kingcord in this pit of the Baron. Flandre picking up these creeps. And can do so quite nicely against this Poppy. Not too worried about that. Of course, can't out-trade. Can out-push. Just wants to stop V from being able to teleport into these fights, I have a feeling. This Tank does not want to tank up the Baron. Goes down to half health.
It's going to have to back on that one.
Yep. Rek'Sai going to pick up the Randuin's Omen and head back towards that top side of the map. Martin doing the same thing. Has himself a pickaxe now as well. SOFM jumps into the pit. Grabs himself that ward. And will also take a bunch of damage getting out. You can see Newbee now setting themselves up.
So this is really scary. We're at an even set in this game. Both teams right now making a case for themselves, but Newbee right now should have the advantage, I believe. The Poppy doing just so much. Yeah, sure, the tanking, but Martin should always feel incredibly pressured in walking up. So he's just going to be in a very, or at least he perceives to be a safe position to ulti. But even doing that, I'm not too sure what kind of damage he's going to be able to output if it does not hit Dade or Happy.
Yeah. And speaking of Happy, he's got that Infinity Edge. So we're talking about item spikes. My God, V. Guardian Angel now done. 2-0-4. Still a lead in farm. It's not high. They are 4 items that are going to make this Poppy extraordinarily difficult to take down. Still has such incredible team fighting control with the ultimate.
Really tense situation around this Baron.
Yeah.
Newbee has taken control. They do have the vision, but now Snake is going to look to challenge.
SOFM tries to clear out some of that vision. Raptor Sense pops. Doesn't use it to clear that ward on the top side of that brush. Newbee now get this wave shoved into them. V moving up towards the Baron.
Yeah, V is trying to position, trying to figure out whether he should push out, continually push out that lane, or come to this fight. Looks like he's found his decision.
Yeah, there it is. QSS and Flash used by Tank to get himself out of there as V now gets stunned up. Gravity Field comes in as well. He takes so much damage. Guardian Angel goes off, but Swift just deletes Tank there in the backline. JZ now with no options as Flandre has to ult out. Curtain Call comes in. Swift in potential trouble, but Moore just stands in the way, and now you can see SOFM just on the wrong side of Summoner's Rift. Newbee are turning around. They want to find Martin slowed down. The Flash
Martin,
goes forward. Dade perma slows him with the Rylai's, and he's able to lock up the AD carry. Flandre's still up. He's got teleport. SOFM still there. JZ can disrupt the fight, but this Baron is going to fall so fast to the Mountain Drake Newbee and all of the damage they have.
Yeah, they cannot contest. That is too far of a tanky lineup. He's just going to look to steal.
Oh, but can't get in there. The tunnel's broken. Flashes! Oh my God! Steals the Baron, and look at the kills! Flandre's in there as well. Happy in trouble. Massive knock up. Swift. He's going to get knocked up again. Double kill as he tends back into the pit. Flandre can never be underestimated, and Snake mop up Newbee.
Flandre and SOFM. SOFM steals the Baron. That was the one thing that definitely needed to not happen for Newbee to win this game.
I'm not even sure how it happened, Raz.
That confidence coming from him is so incredible. He tries to tunnel in, gets blocked out by Trundle, flashes right in because he still has vision from his Q. And as he's gonna die, I believe.
I think so too. Grasp of the Undying. V trying to get it, but another tunnel comes in and SOFM is just frustrated the heck out of V and bought enough time for Flandre to break open the base in the mid lane.
Yeah, just let's look at this. This is incredible. Oh, good lord. So he gets stopped entirely from that pillar. He
and
comes
knocks
in.
4 people up
Yeah.
as he steals the Baron.
Yeah. And of course, Flandre tracks down Sivir, does not let her pass, ulties right back in. He feels like a natural on Echo.
Well, he always played Echo a heck of a lot, but it's just how he navigates these team fights. Just ridiculous. Subjugate now down onto SOFM, who's trying to get himself out. Really good Deadly Flourish there from Martin to disengage. And the 4th dragon of the game now being looked to be taken by Newbee. See where the tank let them. Sorry, Snake let them. Parallel Convergence is in there. They do take down the dragon, but Moore's stunned up. So much damage as he gets deleted by Tank there. Still at full health in the backline. Swift has to dash himself out as Flandre's in. Look at the Chaos Storm as V over the top. Gets himself a cheeky blue buff, but the double knock-up comes in. Now V's going to die. Martin grabs the kill. Dade in trouble. Snake have turned it on at this stage of the game and destroy Newbee one more time.
Every time I count Snake out, they just outplay. They just out-team fight. I am so certain that they should not be, Newbee should not be losing these fights, but they just get chased down, and Flandre and SOFM just sweep the floor with them.
And Snake are now looking to end this game as well. Baroned up minions are heading forward. They've got a lot of damage onto these structures as Moore's going to turn up, but is he going to be enough? Martin does so much damage. Will have a crit in the chamber as Flandre very, very low. Nexus is now bare. Moore is going to get taken down. Big headbutt gets Happy out of the fight as Dash Cannon goes over the top. Flandre throws down a QSS for funsies. He's going to die. SOFM takes down the Nexus though, and Snake secure themselves game 1.
What a game that was. I counted them out, and they took Baron, They took team fight. They took another team fight. It just didn't end.
It was ridiculous. And the combination of SOFM and Flandre in that Baron fight was just outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure which of them is going to pick up the MVP because honestly, they both made some odd decisions, of course. Like, Flandre was not winning that 1v1 against Poppy towards the later stages of the game. That was not looking good, but his team fighting was spectacular. And SOFM honestly almost deserves MVP just for that flash timing to pick up the smite. Just ridiculous. We will see that after, of course, the break. But we are going to have a look at some highlights first as this is Snake mopping up Newbee and Flandre with his just incredible echo play.
Yeah, a lot of confidence coming from him. Able to just completely take out these, like, fight after fight. Just he does it solo here. Because, honestly, SOFM can help him out. Realizes, wait a minute, you're just winning it on your own.
This is actually Newbee finding a fight that they wanted. Chaos Storm didn't find too much damage. It was only V soaking it up, and he had the GA. And honestly, then Martin baits himself in, but this is the moment. Great pillar, but you can't stop a flash.
And the knock-up on top of that, you mentioned that, of course. And they just 2v4. Of course, Alistar coming in. Giozo always there to help out his friends. But they just always look to clean him up. And honestly, it's just really upsetting for Newbee. They always get to these points where they find these massive leads. They find these compositional advantages, and they just can't take it home.
Well, they actually didn't find a lead, I think, ever in that game. The best they did was get back to even after Snake was winning all of their lanes and taking the turrets. But they just looked like they had the better idea, the better plan. However, if you get Baron stolen away from you like that, and then Flandre styles on you like he did in that team fight in the Baron pit, just couldn't find their way back in.
Yeah, but they did. Here's the sad truth, right? But sure, they were always pretty much behind. Newbee was pretty much behind in the early game, and then later on in the game, they were actually even, but with their composition, and they got the position on those Barons.
And every single dragon,
Exactly. They were in a position to win that game. And especially, they have these clear advantages in their top lane. V is a monster.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work out. It never does, it seems.
It just wasn't enough there. So we are going to go to a short break. When we get back, we'll see whether Newbee can figure this out, get themselves to that late game, and see whether they can topple Snake in Game 2.